In this video, we're going to go over how to assemble different pieces into a new component. Our goal is to create a bed that looks like this, where we have two assemblies, one representing the headboard and one representing the footboard, two side rails, and a ledger board holding up slats to support the mattress. So let's get started. Here I have a headboard. I need two of these because one has to become a footboard. So I'm going to click on this object, I'm going to copy, paste it, and move it over to the other side of my canvas. Next, I need the side rails. So I'm going to come out to my pile of wood over here, and I have a 2x6 that I'm going to use for a side rail. So I'm going to click on that, I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to paste one on there. So I pasted one here, and I'm going to paste another one next to it. So I have two of these. Now I need my ledger board. So I'm going to come over here, grab a ledger board by clicking the arrow key, clicking on this grouped ledger board, copying it, coming over here and pasting it. Now when I paste this one in, I want to make sure that it lines up in the right spot. So I'm going to place this one right on this side, on the face, and try to line it up with the edge of the object. So if I orbit around, you'll see what I'm talking about. It should be in line with this face. So there's one, and I'm going to do the same thing, and I'm going to paste another one. This time I'm going to paste this one to line up on the opposite edge. So I'm going to orbit around. I've let go of this object. I'm going to orbit around a little bit. I'm going to grab it again using the move tool along this corner and touch it to this edge in order to get it to line up with that edge. Now I just have to make sure that it's relatively centered on the board from side to side. And you can see that I've got some space on both sides. I'm going to move that one over just a little bit more. So I'm going to grab it here and just slide it a little bit that way. If it's not sensitive enough, just zoom in a little bit and then you should be in better shape. Okay, so I think I'm pretty good on that. Oh, there we go. I think I'm pretty good on that. So I'm going to hit escape a couple times to get out of it. Now I want to bring these and place them in between the headboard and footboard assembly. Now I have to rotate them up, but before I can do that, I have to rotate these 90 degrees so that this one is standing up and this one is standing up with this ledger board on the bottom. So I'm going to group these by selecting this object and then holding my shift key to add this object in. So I've brought these two pieces together. Now I'm going to right click or control click and make it a group. I'm going to do the same thing with this one over here. Click once, hold the shift key down, click again, hold the control key or right click and go to make group. And now I've got these two objects grouped. This one I'm going to rotate using the move tool. And so I'm going to get on this face and I'm going to grab a red plus and I'm going to rotate that around. But you can see that it drops it down below the surface. So now I may have to use my move tool to grab it and slide it upward to try to get it up higher above the ground. The next one I'm going to rotate up using the rotate tool. So I have to click on the object first, come over here, grab my rotation tool. I'm going to click on this point down here, but I want to be on the green axis when I click on it. So the green axis. Click, release, come out, make a handle, click, release, and then I can rotate it down. And I want to get it on the 90-degree point and release it there. So now I've got both items in place where I want them. I can hit escape or click on another tool and get out of that object. Okay. Now I'm going to orbit around, so I'm in a location where I can see where I want to put it. I want to get this board over here and this board up here. So let's start out by grabbing my move tool. And I'm going to click on this object right here. I'm going to grab it by this corner and I'm going to slide it in here to line up with that ledger board that's right there. So I'm going to click and release knowing that it's lined up. I'm then going to come over here and grab this one and do the same thing on the opposite side. Now, I'm going to try to get them lined up, so I'm going to touch that object and move straight across and try to get it to line up on that side. Let's see how I did. So if I zoom in, I don't think it is in the right place. See how it's too far in? So I'm going to grab my move tool again, and I'm going to grab that corner and just slide it out a little bit. So now it's on the outside. It's very subtle, but it was definitely going to cause a problem down the road. So now I have my two rails lined up. Now I have to move this headboard footboard assembly so that it lines up with those, because right now it's inside. So I'm going to click on this, and I'm going to get my move tool, and I'm going to slide this assembly out away from it. Then I'm going to orbit around so I can see it better, so I can make the connection that I want. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to move this part in so it touches that rail, click release, and then hit the escape key so that we're not dragging it around. And let's check and see how we did. Check both sides and orbit around. Looks good. Okay, so now we have our assembly partially completed. The next step